Hey everybody, this is our final chapter of grammar and it's called correct use of modifiers. Modifiers, ladies and gentlemen, is just a fancy name for adjectives and adverbs. We know that adjectives will modify nouns and pronouns, and we know that adverbs will modify verbs, adjectives, or other adverbs. So for the most part, we really don't have too much difficulty when you're talking about basic references in terms of adjective versus adverb. For example, you might say something like, he moved, and I want to say that he was going in a fast direction, so he moved quickly. There's no question that we're modifying the verb moved, so we're using an adverb form. But if I were to start a sentence with he and use the linking verb is, whatever is going in this blank is going to have to be an adjective. And so if I want to say again that he's fast, I would say he is quick. Easy, right? That part doesn't seem to be a problem. It's when to those troublesome pairs. For example, let's take a look at bad and badly. A lot of people misuse bad and badly. We know that bad is the adjective form, right? So the odor coming from my locker is bad. I'm modifying the odor. You do bad things. I'm modifying the word things. But if I were to take some of these linking verbs that deal with senses, a verb like feels, or smells, or tastes, or looks, I would say she feels, and if you hear people say badly, they're wrong. She feels bad. Linking verb, this has to be an adjective telling me about the noun. He smells bad. Same situation. I can't use badly because I'm in need of an adjective since it's linked together. It looks bad from here, not it looks badly. So sometimes you can't rely on your ear because people misspeak all the time. So in each of those cases, I need the adjective form. Badly I'll use obviously as an adverb. The locker badly needs cleaning. To what extent does it need to be cleaned? It badly needs it. Or you do things badly. To what extent do you do things? You do things badly. So that's the adverb form. There is also a good number of problems with good and well. Good can only be used as an adjective. Red is a good color for you, right? Telling me about which color. She's a good coach. But if you ever hear someone trying to use good as an adverb, in other words, we played good yesterday. No way. You cannot use it in that sense. You can't play good because play is an action verb. And you want to describe to what extent are you playing or how you played. So I can never use good as an adverb. So if you have an action verb and you're looking to modify it, you can never go with good. Well is the adverb form. So whenever you need it as an adverb, it's got to be well. You dress well. Everyone played well. There is 1% of the time when well can be hermaphroditic. It can also be an adjective. And that's when we're talking about a state of good health. For example, I feel well today. How do you feel? I feel well. I'm in a state of good health. So we do have to keep an eye on the fact that good is an adjective and well can be an adjective sometimes. It's 9 o'clock and all is well. It's a state not of health but of satisfaction. So you got to keep your eye on that once in a while. Slow and slowly, I think these are easy. We took a slow ferry. Adjective, telling me more about the noun. We played the video in slow motion. What kind of motion? The ferry moved slowly, telling me how it moved. Back up slowly. How should I back up? I should back up slowly. So I don't think there's too much of a problem with real and really. Sorry about that. Slowly. I think you're going to have to delete that slide in between. Sorry about that. Real is an adjective, so she has real talent. He bought a real leather jacket. But if I want to use it as an adverb form, and this is an adjective, she's really talented. I'm sorry, is talented. Yeah, she's really talented. That's the adjective. To what extent is she talented? We are hiking really far. How far are we hiking? To what extent? That far, really far. So keep that in mind too, real. Just as I don't think that. Oh, I love this part. This is 3 degrees of comparison. You have your base form, your comparative form, and your superlative form. So you have your 3 columns. Take a word like tall. He is tall. That's the base form. If I'm going to compare 2 things, he is taller than Mike. 2 people, I use the ER form, right? If I want to say the superlative form, out of everybody in the class, he's the tallest boy in the class. So it's 3 or more things. So I go tall, taller, tallest. Quick, quicker, quickest. Mean, meaner, meanest, right? Those are pretty simple. The big thing you want to keep in mind is that you don't want to use double comparisons. So if this is base form, this is comparative form, and this is superlative form, you wouldn't want to say he is more quicker than I. No. That would be nails on a blackboard. You can't use both. Get rid of one of them. If it exists as an ER form, that's what you want to go with. Sometimes if you're comparing 2 groups, one member of a group with the rest of the group, you need to insert the word else or the word other. Mark is taller than anyone else in the class. Why do I have to insert the else? Well, if you didn't have it and you said Mark is taller than anyone in the class, that would be really confusing, because if he's taller than anyone in the class, that means Mark is taller than Mark. So how can Mark be taller than himself? Same thing with the next example. Texas is bigger than any other state in the continental U.S. If I say Texas is bigger than any state, then how can Texas be bigger than itself? So you have to insert one of those 2 words, either other or else, depending on the meaning of the sentence. When you have double syllable words, multisyllabic words, you're probably going to not be able to use the ER form. You're probably going to have to use the word more. For example, little children might say, oh, my mommy is more beautifuler than yours, or beautifuler than yours. You can't. It doesn't exist with an ER form. So she is more beautiful, simply, just that. And if you're talking about superlative, you'll go with most. And obviously with 3 syllables, it would definitely be more and most. If you're going to go from decrease, the partner for more would be less. So if I want to say studious, she is less studious than her brother. I wouldn't say studiouser. And she is the least studious of all. Least would be the superlative and less would be the comparative. Okay, we're cruising along. These are some charts that you can look at that may help you. Just in terms of the base form, the positive form, the comparative, and the superlative. You'll notice when they have multiple syllables, they're going to start using the word that comes before. Okay, and there's another little chart. And finally, the last part of the chapter is based on misplaced and dangling modifiers. So what do you want to keep in mind when it involves this? Always keep the modifier. Let me see if I can get better color here. Always keep the modifier as close as possible to the word that it's modifying. Okay, so we look at this sentence, after getting lost. We have right next to it the owner. So you have to ask yourself, is the owner the one that's getting lost? If so, it's in the right place because you want it to be as close as possible. But I have a feeling that it's probably the puppy that was lost. So let's get it right next to it. After getting lost, the puppy was finally found by the owner. Or let's move it to the end of the sentence, but again, keep it right next to the puppy. The owner finally found the puppy after he was lost. So misplaced means that it's there, it's just not in the right spot. Dangling, just like someone who's dangling from a cliff, it means that the modifier doesn't have any word in the sentence to work off. So carefully turning the pages this book was sure to be a thriller. Well, time out. I have carefully turning the pages, and then I'm following it up with the book. A book can't turn pages. Probably you need a person in here somewhere. So let's insert a person. We'll make somebody up, Carefully turning the pages, Samson knew the book was going to be a thriller. So you get the idea. Okay? So that's what the chapter entails. Comparison of modifiers with regard to base form, comparative superlative, dangling and misplaced modifiers, and then the first part we were talking about adjectives and adverbs, the troublesome pairs. Okay, good luck.